And that was my next point, is Kyrie Irving. Everybody has kind of been under the assumption like, well, if Kyrie gets his vaccine, or the Nets will be the best team in the league instantly. First of all, no, they won't. That's Golden State and Phoenix. Frankly, I trust Milwaukee more. But also, you add to the fact, even when Kyrie is healthy, was he not a distraction last year for the Nets? Over and over, skipping games randomly, not being able to stay healthy. Even when Kyrie's healthy, even if by some crazy chance he got vaccinated, he's a distraction. You don't know what you're getting from him emotionally. You don't know what you're getting from him on the court. You don't know if he'll even be at the court. You don't even know if he'll be at the arena. That's the risk that the Nets took. And going out and getting Kyrie in 2019, along with getting Kevin Durant. Now, you could say, Durant maybe doesn't go to Brooklyn and, unless they get Kyrie. Okay, that's fine. They wanted to play together. That was, no secret to anybody. But you got KD. KD and Harden, the whole Nets basketball team and organization made it pretty clear in training camp and then the first part of the season, we're getting a little sick of Kyrie's nonsense. And my thing was, you got an easy solution. Trade him. Trade him. Because you can't just be paying a guy sitting at home. Now, obviously, he's not making the full, I think, $37 million a year on average is what his contract is now. He was making something like $18 million to sit at home and be a voice for the voiceless, even though I didn't hear him talk while he was out. That's neither here nor there. But the Nets made it clear. We're getting kind of frustrated with him. They asked KD and Harden, did you talk to him? Have you talked to him recently? No, not really. No. Why didn't you trade him? There's a lot of teams. Listen, there's not a championship team, contending team that I think would trade for Kyrie Irving. But there's some teams that may. Hey, who's to say a team like, say, the Toronto Raptors? Of course, actually, no, Toronto can't. They got a vaccine mandate. My bad. But who's to say a team like, looking at the standings, I don't know. What if New Orleans, right? What if New Orleans took a shot? Or Sacramento, that's the one we've discussed the most. Who's to say some of those teams wouldn't say, let's kick the tires in the whole Kyrie Irving experiment. It sells tickets. At the very least, people are going to go to the arena to see Kyrie Irving play, and for good reason. He's out. He's unbelievable. You could get something for Kyrie. Absolutely. But they didn't. And Kyrie Irving's going to come back. He'll play road games. Outside of at Golden State, at Toronto. I think the Lakers now, I think LA, well, actually, it'd be the Lakers and the Clippers at this point, have a similar mandate. And I'm not sure if the Knicks do. So for the majority of the Nets home games or road games, he's going to be there. Yeah, what if you got an elimination game? And it's at the Barclays Center. And Kyrie's not there. Then what are you going to do? Because James Harden don't look like James Harden. You can say, well, Kevin Durant's playing the best basketball of his career. To me, KD's just continuing what he did in the playoffs, which was unstoppable basketball. We saw what he did, dropping 40, I think it was at 49 against the Bucks in that game 5 to take a 3-2 lead. And in the game 7, he dropped, or I think he had 50 in that game 5. I don't know. He had 49, 50 points, and he had something close to that, 49 points in that game 7, including the almost game winner, which would have advanced the Nets to the Eastern Conference Finals. KD's just continuing what he did. The problem is, the last time KD did this, they lost. So who's to say that won't happen again? It's like I told you, this is why I don't trust the Nets. This is why I said, KD, you made a mistake leaving the Warriors. Big mistake. Not even as a Warriors fan. Take the fact that I'm a Golden State fan out of the picture. He made a mistake. Because you're trusting a guy in Kyrie who you have no idea where he's going to be at. Mentally, physically, no clue. You have no idea what you're getting from Kyrie Irving on a game-to-game basis. Heck, on a day-to-day basis. And then you're trusting a guy in James Harden who has not just no playoff resume, but frankly, a bad one. I won't even spend the time going through playoff series after playoff series after playoff series, going back to his days in Houston, when he wasn't just not himself, he was straight up garbage. We always say, well, what's the Maya Angelou quote when someone shows you who you are, believe them. Well, James Harden show us year in and year out that in the playoffs, he's kind of trash. Kevin Durant hasn't done that. He's great in the playoffs, but where's his help going to come from? Because if that's who you're relying on, good luck. If he pulls that off, man, we got to elevate KD into the top 10 players of all time, in my view, if he pulls off this championship this season. I mean, that would be unbelievable. But this is why I said before the season, I don't trust Brooklyn. I trust KD. It's so funny. The Nets and the Lakers kind of have the same problem. The Lakers, some of it's age. I do trust Frank Vogel more than I do Steve Nash, without a question. But you look at the Lakers, and they got their best player, LeBron James. Trust him. He's had some injuries, but when he's out in the court, I trust him. He's going to be great. His playoff resume speaks for itself and then some. For the Nets, KD, his playoff resume not as great as LeBron's, but it speaks for itself. But the two stars in the team for the Lakers, one can't stay healthy, and the other is bad in the playoffs. For the Nets, one can't stay healthy. You don't know if he's going to be there. The other's bad in the playoffs. And neither team is that deep. It's funny. The Lakers and the Nets, this is going to be the finals. The Lakers and Nets going to play in the finals. They got the same problem. They're the same team, just on opposite coasts and opposite conferences in the NBA. It's kind of ironic, to be honest with you. So, Nets fans, I mean, even if you're getting a little excited about this, I'm like, yeah, sure, he's going to be on the road, but he's also not going to be at home. And so when you're having these big home games and he's not there, you don't think his teammates aren't going to be frustrated? You don't think we're going to get some sound bites at those press conferences from Nash, Durant, Harden? It's coming. It's coming. This, to me, seals it. Unless they trade him. Maybe this is their way of building his trade value to show people, hey, look what this guy can do. He's unbelievable. He's crazy talented, which all the above is true. So that teams can be like, oh, it's kind of the recency bias thing, right? Kyrie goes out there, dominates, balls out, maybe has a 40-point game in there somewhere, and the Nets get to trade him, get something for him. Maybe this is just something, maybe this is going over our heads. Maybe I'm overthinking this. But if that's not the plan to trade him, then good luck, Nets. Good luck, Kevin Durant. Y'all ain't going to the finals. You may get to the Eastern Conference Finals so long as you avoid the Bucks. Heck, even the Bulls at this point, if they're healthy. But this is the Nets' reality right now. It's the same thing as the Lakers. It's the same thing. And the team that they're trying to catch, that these two teams are trying to catch, out east with Brooklyn, they're trying to catch Milwaukee, the team that beat them last year. Roster up and down. Brooklyn's got a better roster than Milwaukee. But Milwaukee's pieces, well, I always talk about this. This isn't NBA 2K. The pieces got to fit. And in Milwaukee, they do. I mean, look when they added Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday has never made an all-star game in his career. But he fit exactly what they needed. A guy who can score some points for you. But above all, we need you to lock down our number one, the other team's number one guard or number one wing. Because what happened to the Bucks the previous 2 years before? Kawhi Leonard dominated. They didn't have anybody to guard him. The year after, Jimmy Butler dominated. They didn't have anybody to guard him either. So they get Drew Holiday. And ironically, Drew Holiday against a guard, Devin Booker, made the biggest play of the finals last year. The pieces fit. Out west, the Lakers are chasing the Warriors and the Suns. Top to bottom, although Golden State and Phoenix's rosters are no joke, top to bottom, some may argue that the Lakers' roster is better. But Phoenix and Golden State's pieces fit. That's how it goes. That's how it goes in the NBA. Heck, that's how it goes in sports. How many Hollywood couples have lasted a year? I mean, it's kind of the age-old joke, right? Actors and actresses, they're beautiful and they get together and they probably last a year and a half. Just because they look good and all that doesn't mean they work together. It's the same thing here.